What's going on, everybody? Jesse here. Today I'm going to teach you how you can really quickly build your own Slack weather bot. So you're going to be able to create your own tool that lets your users on your Slack channel type in weather and then their zip code, and it'll run and build a response that gives them the weather that day, the temperature, and puts a GIF that is an example of that weather. So in this case, rain, and we have a rain on the cheetah. And so any user can input one, and your WayScript program will run, and the bot will return the results. Awesome. So that's how this works, and now I'm going to show you how to build this from scratch really easily using WayScript. So we're going to go into our WayScript program, and I'm just going to clear all this out, and we are going to build from scratch. So I'm just going to grab all this and throw it in the trash can. And let's get rid of this as well. And we are ready to go. So the first thing that we want to do to get our program to run is we want to have our bot and our program run every time a Slack message is posted to our Slack channel. So to do that, we're going to use the Slack trigger. So we're going to turn our trigger on, and we're going to pick the channel we care about, or we could choose it to run for messages on any channel. In this case, I just pick a channel, and what I'm going to grab is the Slack message text, and notice that this has now popped up in my variables section. That's important to keep your eye on, and with the little Slack icon so we remember where it came from. So while we're building, I'm just going to create default data that we can work with, and this will be replaced with the text every time a message is posted to Slack. Now what we want to tell our program is if this is of the right command. So if this says weather : and then a zip code, run this program. So we can use an if statement. So what we'll say is if our Slack message text contains weather, right? So if weather : is inside of our message, then you're going to run down this branch in our workflow and do whatever we say. Otherwise, it won't do anything. So we're able to build some logic for our bot. All right, so let's say that this is true and weather is in there. Now what we need to do is actually pull the zip code out of this Slack message. So to do that, we're going to use our text actions library, and what we're actually going to do is just replace weather : with nothing. So we're basically going to say pull that out and replace it with an empty value, and that will just set it so we'll just pull out the zip code. So I put in the Slack message text, and I say we're looking for weather : and with replace with, we're just going to leave it blank. So if I had put something else here, it would replace weather : with whatever that is, but because it's blank, it will just treat it with nothing, and we get our zip code. So just in case that's unclear, if I were to type example, well, it didn't spell that right, but now you can see it's replaced it, but because I set it to nothing, it gets set to nothing. All right, so now we have a variable called zip code, which is just the zip code of that we want to look up. So now we can go in and grab the weather API, and we're going to pull some data based on that zip code. So I'm going to input the zip code into the weather API. So we're telling the weather API, take this zip code, and now you can pull out a bunch of different data. So the name of the city, and weather condition categories, and things like that, current temperature. So what we'll pull for this example is the weather condition categories. So as you can see right now, there's only one, and it's clouds, and we'll pull the current temperature. Okay. So one thing to keep in mind here with the weather condition category, and that's why this one is wrapped in blue and the others are green, is this is a list. So this could hold more than one weather condition. So it could be clouds and rain. And so we need to go through and pick a GIF for each one, a GIF for each one of these terms. So what we're going to do is insert a loop, and we are going to give it that weather condition category, and we'll just call this our weather condition. Cool. So now you can see the loop, and now we can do things inside of this loop. So it'll do these actions for each one of the items in our list of weather conditions for that zip code. So what we will do is we will grab the GIPHY library and we will pull that into our loop. Oops. Pull that into our loop. So now it's sitting in the loop. And what we will put in is our weather condition. All right. And what we're going to pull out is the link. So we're going to pull out the link of a GIF. We're selecting a random result. You could also get a list of all the results if you wanted, but for this example, that works much better. And now we're going to create the message we want to send back to Slack. So I'm going to create a variable that I call Slack message. And what's cool about variables in WayScript is you can feed and replace values from variables we already have in our program. So I'll show you what I mean. The weather today has, and then we can grab our weather condition. So it will now replace that with clouds. And the temperature is, and we'll drag in the current temperature. And then we will stick in our link. Awesome. So now we've built our Slack message that we are going to bring and post back to Slack via our bot. So to do that, we're going to grab Slack and put it into our flow, as you can see. And we are going to write back to that same channel. And what we would like to do is write to a channel. So what we are going to input is our Slack message as our message. And we can do this as a bot. So I can just call this the weather bot. And that's it. So we have now built a program that lets users hard code in their zip code, and this will run in real time. So just to test it, we can run it, and then we can go into Slack and see the results. So I can go in here now and try it out. So I do weather : and a zip code. So there we go. So now we have rain, and we get the rain GIF, and we get the information. Hope you like the content. Please subscribe if you want to see more. Ask questions, leave comments, and hope you try out the WayScript beta. Thanks for watching.